Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Mutombo's legacy lives on after passing away at 58 years old. Mutombo died today at 58 years because of brain cancer, and I never would have thought it would affect me like this. My entire life as a basketball fan and player, I've always thought about his iconic shot blocking taunt, wagging his finger and going and oh and oh and oh with an unmistakably deep growly baron. Mutombo's journey in the NBA was defined by a towering presence that struck fear into opponents for nearly 2 decades. From the moment the Denver Nuggets selected him 4th overall in 1991, it was clear that Mutombo wasn't your typical player standing at 7'2". In his game revolved around stifling defense, and he quickly became one of the most feared shot blockers in the league. His now famous finger wag, which followed a rejection, served as a reminder of his dominance over 18 seasons. Mutombo earned 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards and was an All-Star 8 times, representing teams like the Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, Philadelphia 76ers and Houston Rockets. Here's a clip of him serving the Warriors with Philly. I remember him very well battling against the prime behemoth Shaquille O'Neal in the 2001 NBA Finals, valiantly fighting as a Defensive Player of the Year against an all-time legend. Yet the accolades and statistics only tell part of the story. By the time he retired, Mutombo had solidified himself as the second most prolific shot blocker in NBA history, but behind those numbers was a man who carried the weight of his homeland on his shoulders. Born in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mutombo used his platform to bring attention to the struggles of his country. His contributions off the court, particularly through the Mutombo Foundation, which built hospitals in Congo, paint a picture of a man who never forgot where he came from. His induction into the Nth Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2015 was bittersweet, a recognition of both achievements on the court and his humanitarian efforts off of it. His legacy, however, extends far beyond basketball. For all the blocked shots and defensive accolades, it's the lives he touched through his philanthropic work that endure. Longer strip to Mount Mutombo. The Golden State Warriors have always placed importance on their full roster, top to bottom. Sometimes they call it strength in numbers. David Lee preferred the term full squad, so we're going through the full squad, previewing each of the players who might see action for the new-look Warriors this season. First up is the Warriors' last player to sign a 2-way contract, center Quinten Post. The Warriors originally traded the number 52 pick in June's draft to the Oklahoma City Thunder for wing shooter Lindy Waters III, then bought the pick back to select Post, a 24-year-old center who stands 7 feet tall. This week Post signed a 2-way deal replacing Daquan Plowden for the team's final 2-way slot. Here are some reasons to get excited about Post, even if he's likely there. 4th-string center on this team, Steph Curry, is open to trying out new things on offense. The hiring of Terry Stotts, former head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, signaled a potential change in how the Golden State Warriors approached their half-court offense. Despite having Steph Curry on the team, the Warriors finished 10th in the league in offensive rating, with garbage time eliminated from the equation. Per cleaning the glass, they were also 10th in half-court offensive rating. Such marks technically placed them in the upper half of the league in terms of offensive efficiency, but having Curry, perhaps the greatest defensive talent the league has ever seen, meant those marks weren't enough to justify his pedigree. Having coached another sharp-shooting guard in Damian Lillard, STS can bring a fresh perspective to the offense without necessarily stepping on toes and overhauling what has worked for the Warriors over the last decade. He will still emphasize the ball and player movement that have become the signature of the Warriors offense, but with a touch more emphasis on pick-and-roll concepts. Interesting snippet from Terry STS about his approach to offense. Back when he was Portland's head coach, he was known for running lots of flare screens and pin downs for the likes of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. A quick thread using one of his Portland plays: one chest. Curry himself accepts that in order to progress, the team needs to shake up a few things and incorporate new concepts. More importantly, he's willing and open to try out out new things you get smacked in the face and don't make the playoffs. That's all the real message you need, the reminder you need that Curry said during his media day availability. We have a way of doing things in terms of how we approach practices, games, the level of competition you need to have, but when it comes down to your X's and O's and the style and all that type of stuff, being open to evolving and pivoting and trying out what, especially how the league continues to evolve as well. The good news is, like, I'm coming into this training camp with an open mind of how we're supposed to play. I know there's a Warriors mentality and culture of how we do things. There's a system that we ran for a decade plus that has worked. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how this team needs to play. We have to have antennas up on and an openness to accept what this team's strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and kind of lean into those. With preseason right around the corner, expect some changes to concepts and set plays in the half-court. Warriors had trade talks with Nick over elite defensive center. The Warriors already boast one of the best power center SL wings in basketball, but they could be looking to add another quality rebounder to strengthen their front court depth. Behind him is an area of concern, particularly when it comes to defensive presence and rebounding. According to Sports Illustrated Jacoba Reynolds, the Warriors have reached out to the New York Knicks about acquiring Mitchell Robinson, currently recovering from a stress fracture in his foot. During the postseason is known as an elite defensive center when healthy. However, his injury history raises concerns. Last season the 25-year-old played just 31 regular season games and appeared in just 6 playoff games before suffering another setback. Despite his limited availability, Robinson's impact on the court is undeniable. In the games he played, he averaged 5.6 points, 8.5 rebounds and shot 575 from the field. Known for his ability to block shots, Robinson is one of the league's premier rim protectors. His athleticism and agility allow him to defend some of the best offensive players in the NBA. However, his aggressive playing style sometimes leads to injuries, making him a risky acquisition. The Warriors have also reportedly discussed the possibility of trading some players, but no deal has been finalized. However, he is not a traditional center, which the Knicks may prefer, especially after acquiring Karl Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks could potentially maximize his value, particularly given the need for depth at the power forward position. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Mitchell Robinson? Leave your opinion in the comments.